Hi YouTube. I am here because I wanted to make a video about the old Maplestory and about how most people who play Maplestory today that played many years ago, specifically before Big Bang, about how they feel about it. And I've been playing since 2005, and I know a lot of people who still play today in 2012 have played back then too, and like the general consensus is that the old Maplestory was, much better than it is today. And I just kind of wanted to reiterate what a lot of people on the internet have been saying, because if you go to any YouTube video about Maplestory, in the comments there's always going to be at least one person that's like, oh, so much better back then. So I guess I'll just start off with when I started. I started playing in 2005 when I was in 5th grade, and I was a complete moron in the game, like a total noob. I didn't know what I was doing. I made a cleric, a magician as my first character, and I had no idea what I was doing. I put like my AP stats in health and strength, and it was an awful character. But during my time with her, I grew to love the game because it was just part of my childhood. I could spend hours on it and just, be taken away and just be like killing slimes in a tree, and like it didn't matter. I was just, having fun in my own world. And what I really liked about it back then was just that everyone was working together, everyone was training together. I met so many great people back then, and so many people that I, just spent so much time talking to later on. And it was just really simple, and even though leveling was a huge pain in the ass, it was just like, it was so fun, and I really, really loved it. So back then, I started, basically like meeting tons and tons of new people, just because back then you had to train and you ended up talking to a lot of people. And what I really liked about it back then was that there was such a sense of like community, which I know everyone says that, but I really, really did feel it back then. Everyone was just, most people that I met were just so nice to me, even though I was probably a total idiot. And you just spend so much time talking with them. And what happened was I made a guild called Dragons, and I made it with all my buddies, and I was the leader, and I just loved that guild so much. And there were tons of people, and actually a decent amount of high levels, even though I was level 30 the whole time leading the guild. And we would just talk, and I just loved it back then, because instead of the game being about leveling and training, it was about, socializing and enjoying time with your buddies. And so, you just spend hours in the FM just talking with them, BSing, doing nothing. And it was more about, how will my leveling affect my, social aspect of the game, as opposed to how will talking to my buddies affect my leveling, which is how it is now. So, I'd spend all this time talking with them back then, and I took a bunch of breaks, because I've been playing, basically the entire time since 2005 to now, and I've taken a bunch of breaks since then, and every time I come back, it's like Maplestory's changed a little bit. So, like, when I played in 2005, it was basically what I just described, and then every time I came back, more buddies wouldn't play anymore, and my guild became inactive. And what I noticed was that people were starting to train more and more, and that it was not really the same thing that it used to be. Because I remember the game. Obviously, I remember Tiger and Sushi and whatever, and everyone knows them. But what I loved was that, like, when I first started playing, I remember the highest level was like 57, and I thought that anyone above level 20 was like Jesus. I just thought they were so cool. Because I just spent hours training, and somehow I only got to level like 10. I was just a total fail. So that's what I loved about that. And then as time went on, like, I'd say like 2007, 2008, you know, everyone in my guild was gone, and I love that guild so much, so I started a new guild called Cloud9, and my problem with the new one was that since in the old game, in the old, you know, version, all my buddies went offline, I had to find all these new people to invite, and in like 2008, it really wasn't that hard. Like, I would go to like Hennessy's like hunting ground, I just invite like level 10s, and what was so nice is that, you know, they were like so grateful to be invited to a guild, especially if they were new to the game, and you know, so what happened was that these people would stay on their characters until, you know, like for a long time. They would level up these level 10s, and that created such a great, like, guild feeling, because, you know, they were there since the beginning and they stayed in the guild. And and they don't play anymore, because that was years ago. But what I notice now is that you can't do that anymore. You can't go to, you know, a noob area and invite tons of level 10s and then have a great community in your guild anymore, because what happens is that no one plays on the same character. You know, because now there's like demon slayers and all these crazy classes that level 200 in a day. And so, you know, no one stays on the same character. So except for like a few guilds in each realm, there's like no activity in any guilds, and it's impossible to build one from scratch anymore. You know, and not to mention that everyone has their own guild now, and that was probably one of my favorite parts of the game, and it's pretty much, you know, gone. And I mean, I'm part of the problem too, because I had my own guild, but I just loved being with all those people, and I can't do that anymore. And what I noticed about the new Maple, which, you know, I just started playing a few weeks ago, and that's why I made this video, because I was just, you know, in shock at how different it was, is that, you know, no one really talks to you. If you have questions, someone will answer sometimes, but then that's it. You know, there's no further talking to them. And I don't know, I feel like the game's only about leveling now, and, you know, your damage, and it's always been about damage. There's always guys that's like, oh, your damage sucks, noob, but it didn't really matter as much, because my damage did suck, but I had a bunch of awesome buddies that would come kick their ass if they're messing with me, you know? And now, none of my buddies are online, and I'm so lonely, and, you know, and I mean, there nice people. It's not like the people that are playing are different, it's just like the culture is different in the game. And I mean, I don't know, I feel like it's gone completely downhill, and so I'm so lonely, and no one's, you know, if the second I invite someone into the guild, they, like, switch characters, because, you know, they got their character level, you know, like, 120 in, like, a day, so that, you know, they just switch around, and I don't know, I feel like the old Maplestory was really part of my childhood, and I miss, like, all the people that I used to know. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. If anyone wants to share their stories about the old Maplestory in the comments, please do that. And if you wanna, I'm really looking for buddies. I'm so lonely. I'll play in, I don't know how to pronounce it. I always pronounce it Cheney. I think it's Kahini or something like that. It's the purple one with the box. And yeah, my character's name is Raw Love. It's spelled how it sounds. And if you want to buddy me or just whisper me whatever, I would love that. Or, you know, if you want to join the guild, whatever. I really feel like I just want to, like, talk to someone who played the old Maplestory and, like, you know, like, reminisce about what it was like. So, yeah, thank you.